White people, I have a question for you, and if you would, I would like for you to think about this critically and logically. When you envision the transatlantic slave trade and you picture in your mind the hundreds of thousands of African bodies who were forced onto ships to be taken to various places throughout the world and sold into slavery, what kinds of people do you picture? The reason that I ask is because I can almost guarantee that through indoctrination and by design, the vast majority of you picture uneducated, uncivilized, and in your mind what a savage would look like. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? And does it make sense?
Hey fam, Gracie here. I hope you all are doing amazing. I am well myself. Thank you so much to each and every one of you, the returning subscribers and new subscribers on the channel, for your unwavering support to me on this channel. I don't take any one of you for granted. Thank you so very much once again. Now today's episode is going to be a history class. It is so amazing to see how palm-colored people are now woke. They are literally questioning each and everything that they were told. And we also have to put in mind the fact that these decisions and choices were deliberate, not to educate some of these people about what happened during slavery. And you all know exactly why they did that, because they knew at some point their own actions are going to come back haunting them and biting them back in the so that is why some of them kept some information deliberately, while they were trying to actually misinform and lie to their own people about Black people, about the slaves that they got from Africa, and how they were, unskilled, and they used not to do anything skilled. And therefore, most of the times they use these same claims, the false misinformation that they keep talking about, to actually deny our people reparations. I'm sure some of you have watched this video that has been making rounds of this white man that has been saying, why didn't you build your own country?
Why don't you build your own country? You didn't fucking build our country. You didn't build shit. Some of you worked here, yeah, but you didn't build. If that was the case, then you can build your own shit in your own country. Look at Africa. How great is that built? Tell me how great that's built over there. Wow. It's a economic powerhouse over there, isn't it?
Not wrong.
Greatest standard of living on the planet.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Didn't even invent the wheel until the 1900s.
Well, you look at what a free market does for a country. The United States is, the founding is nothing short of a miracle, and because of that, the free market, you've been able to have some innovation that has changed the world.
Africa's not a country, so if you pay for that education, I think you need a refund. My job is not to educate you, but I just had to let you know that when you speak, we don't take it serious. And the wheel was not invented in the 1900s. It was believed to be built by the Mesopotamian people around 4000 BC, so try not to sound so dumb as hell.
These people are so deliberate and selective. They want to select the parts that suit them and make them feel like they are the best humans that brought human civilization. But all of us are aware that modern day civilization actually began in Africa, and a lot of these people literally copied and took each and everything from here. We all know their societies were crumbling, and that is the same reason as to why they actually decided to come to the continent and decide to enslave our people. I'm going to show you a video of a woke palm-colored woman that is actually trying to demystify and throws and debunks the lies that they have been fed for decades, which is very, very interesting to me and exciting to know that they are actually waking up to question the truth, and they're educating themselves, and now they understand the pain of Black people that have been trying to raise their voices in Americas, but they have been not listened to. They've been denied reparations, when in actual sense, they are the ones that built this country. Stick by and listen to what I have to say as well. Take a look at this.
White people, I have a question for you, and if you would, I would like for you to think about this critically and logically. When you envision the transatlantic slave trade and you picture in your mind the hundreds of thousands of African bodies who were forced onto ships to be taken to various places throughout the world and sold into slavery, what kinds of people do you picture? The reason that I ask is because I can almost guarantee that through indoctrination and by design, the vast majority of you picture uneducated, uncivilized, and in your mind what a savage would look like. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? And does it make sense? The white settlers had already failed to create some type of economy here in North America so many times before. They had failed over and over and over again. So many had starved. Europeans didn't even want to go anymore because the idea of starving or getting an arrow through the heart didn't seem appealing to them, because that's all that was happening over and over and over again. They had already killed so many indigenous people. So you think that they specifically then sought after the most uneducated and uncivilized human beings that they could think of to come here to jumpstart their economy. Does that make any sense? Does it make any sense that the people of the continent of Africa had survived for thousands of years and cultivated that land long before the transatlantic slave trade started? It doesn't make any sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense. And so you have to ask yourself, what is the number one thing that is different between the Europeans and the Africans that it would be so easy for Europeans to use as a way to create apathy amongst the masses? Skin color. They looked differently, but they were educated and they could work, and they saw that. So they specifically sought after them because they knew that they could create a false narrative that these individuals were uncivilized, uneducated, and like throwaway people. And they were put here to work for the white men, and thus birthed white supremacy. But the truth of the matter is that the individuals who were forcibly loaded onto those ships were botanists, philosophers, astronomers, doctors, the list goes on and on and on. They were vital assets to their communities, and they were thriving in Africa. As a matter of fact, at one point, the white settlers, colonists, Europeans, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the white people, specifically sought after a group of women from a region in Africa where these women cultivated rice. And now cultivating rice is a very labor-intensive process. It breeds bacteria and it's incredibly dangerous. But these women were pros at it. They were super intelligent and they knew what they were doing. And the white men wanted them to come do it for them in the Carolinas. And so that's what they did. They created this false sense of superiority that has lingered on to today. Africans that were brought here jump-started this economy. And they have never, ever, ever been shown credit where it is due. They've never been given any type of reparations from jump-starting this economy and creating the very country that we live in today. Truly. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that these were educated and highly valuable people, I want you to go read up on the Stono Rebellion. It was one of the largest slave rebellions that literally shut the transatlantic slave trade down for years following that. And after that, the chattel slave owners were basically told that the goal was to basically SA the women so that they can create slaves who were born here and knew no different. They then believed that slaves who were born in Africa would be a lot more difficult to train, and they were a lot less malleable. They could dumb them down a little bit, get rid of some of that education, and just make them work. They just wanted the work aspect of it. They didn't give a fuck about their minds at all. So I want you to truly, seriously think about that and think about, logically, does it make sense that the white man was desperately looking for a group of people to subjugate so that they could jumpstart their economy in their new world, and they specifically sought after individuals who were uneducated and uncivilized? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me because it's not true. Have a good night.
We also have to look at the criterias. I have been searching history here and there, and I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a student of learning. Yes, the criterias through which the slave masters used to buy these slaves were they had to be, if it was a man, he had to be young and strong. If it was a woman, this woman had to be strong and fertile, so that they do not run out of supply of labor just in case the older slaves get out of shape and probably they get unalived. Also, there is something that is very, very crucial that I read where they were saying that before buying these slaves, they had to even ask for their experience in work. So that means they did not get people that did not know how to do anything. When you look at the type of jobs that slaves used to do, it wasn't just the housework, it wasn't just the plantation work. Even when we are so much aware that plantation work requires a lot of knowledge with plants, with all the modern day medicines that we are looking at today, it was all gotten from our people that had so much knowledge about herbal medicine usage that they had acquired from the motherland. These medicines, these plants, they are the same things they used to actually treat themselves with, including helping their slave masters' families. How could you get someone to work on plantations and plants when they had no prior knowledge about plants at all? So we are the only people that are known to start from scratch, from nothing, and we make things out of nothing. The evidence is always how we are very crafty in making our foods, our cuisines, our craftsmanship, our art. We literally make things from scratch. But also we have to question, if you're saying the people that came, they were unskilled, then who built the pyramids that y'all still can't fathom how these structures were made, including the pyramids in the Americas? Who created this? I know a lot of people have, theories that these pyramids were built by, giants, but I don't believe that, because we were rooted deeply in ancient knowledge. Part of the jobs, when I start talking about part of the jobs, in fact, our people built the railroads. In fact, our people built the White House that, your president sit all in. In fact, our people built so many buildings. How do you get someone to actually do all of this if they did not have any knowledge? When it comes to craft and the art of building and that architectural designs, it roots way back from the motherland. So we had philosophers, and I want you to also question yourself, if they are saying some of these slaves were captives of war. Even dealing with the art of war, most of the times the looting is done basing on the value of the lootings, of the people, of everything that they take. That means that the older people they used to find in, wherever they used to go and fight, they would either get rid of them. In fact, these are facts, that some of the slaves that were old, they were gotten rid of, they were unalived because they were not useful. So that explains that even the prisoners of war they used to get the creme de la creme. This is just common knowledge, public knowledge, that even in our kingdoms over here, our kings used to capture the people that, were very smart, very energetic and strong, because these people were used to fight and to fight other territories when it comes to expansion. All of this is just excuses to deny our people their due rights, to date the same people they are calling lazy. They are saying, they don't want to work. But they don't put into consideration the art of, generational wealth that they have inherited for decades. That even when our people built the Black Wall Street and all the businesses they began just to start something for their generations, they were destroyed, and then they are calling them lazy. No, they are not lazy. And we are not putting into consideration of the kings, the princes, the queens that were also captured and taken into slavery. Yes, some of you are actually coming from royal bloodline. And please, you need to be educated on this, because nobody that belonged to the royal family was uneducated. Most of these people were actually educated, highly educated. But yes, I want to end this. I want to end this video with this nugget for you. Just in case you have watched to the end, I'm gonna read you this letter or this article that one of the Lord British, whatever messenger was actually addressing the British Parliament in 1835. And this is what he said about Africa. He said, I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief. Such wealth I have seen in this country. You notice how he says this country? That means that was before the Berlin Conference, before they sliced our countries into pieces and put all these imaginary boundaries that we all are so afraid to get rid of. It was one country. Such high moral value. They are saying we were barbaric and we didn't know nothing. He's saying we had high moral value. People of such caliber, you understand, that I do not think we would ever be able to conquer this country. Again, emphasis on country, all right? Unless we break the very backbone of this nation, one nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system. You notice how he's saying her old ancient education system. So that means we had our own education. It was ancient, it was intricate, and it used to be passed on the most intimate way, to an extent that I have so much knowledge here, I have so much skills that no educated person, both in Americas and here or anywhere, cannot even fathom our heritage. Therefore, I propose that we replace her old and ancient education, her culture, for if Africans think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. We all need to know that we had it all well. The concept of God was not new to us. In fact, in my country, we call God Katonda. That means we had higher knowledge of the higher power. We knew who he was alongside all the small gods. Civilization and medicine and everything all began here. And they knew it, that when they came, they did not find anybody starving over here. In fact, they were starving to an extent. Some of them had started eating themselves up. But over here, we were not starving. We had knowledge over plants. We knew the art of blacksmith, the weapons that we used to use. All of that was highly crafted by our own people from scratch, not with any knowledge of the white man. There are videos that are surfacing up right now of our people building actually bridges in the sky while they were trying to maneuver through the forest and the rivers just to make sure they can go to different places. If they tell us that our people did not travel, that's a lie, a huge, huge lie. And that's why I'm so excited to see a lot of these woke palm-colored people coming out to tell their children and their people and calling them out and telling them, stop with these lies. The African kingdoms, so many institutions and systems put in place to an extent that when they made it to Buganda, my kingdom, they said we've never ever seen a people that are so organized. That's gonna be a history class for another day. It is our time now to call out the lies as they are and passing this history to our children, because this indoctrination goes far deep. Anywho, the cotton, the agriculture, all of that jacked up their economies. If they are saying that these people did not do anything, I want us to take 500 plus years of free labor off America and the West in general, and we see where these people are going to be at. And if they are saying we had no value and we're not adding any value, they would not still be crumbling and fighting to still get back and have access to our resources. What do you all think? I don't know if I was rambling, but I hope you all enjoyed this session. I am learning. I am open to learning more. You can recommend more pieces I can go to bring you more informative videos like this one. If you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this same video. And I will see you in another amazing video. Gracie here. Bye.